Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Viviana Valencia, and I'm the Executive Coordinator at CALDO. We're continuing with the series Study in Canada. And for this series, the CALDO Consortium has invited the Graduate Studies Department or schools from each of our 10 member universities so that you may have an opportunity to learn about their institution as well as to ask questions in relation to their academic requirements to start your graduate studies. Before we start, I'd just like to point a couple of housekeeping items. So if you have any questions throughout the session, please feel free to note them in the Q&A box. You will see this box at the bottom of your screen. That way our panelists are able to help you answering those questions. So before we start, I would like to take just a few minutes to introduce you to CALDO, to those of you who are not familiar with the consortium. So CALDO is a consortium composed of 10 of Canada's U15 leading universities, distinguished from other Canadian universities because of the strong research focus. Our members consist of the University of Alberta, the University of Calgary, Dalhousie University, Université Laval, McMaster University, the University of Ottawa, the University of Saskatchewan, the University of Toronto, the University of Waterloo, and Western University. So what is CALDO? So CALDO, see it as a bridge between you, the prospective student, and our member universities. At CALDO, we provide a range of free services to prospective students interested in completing graduate studies at one of our 10 member universities. Some of the services that we offer are assistance with the steps to apply to graduate studies, helping finding or contacting the professors that could become their supervisors. And on this topic, we're actually going to have another webinar on Thursday of this week, July 30th, on how to contact a supervisor. So I strongly suggest for you, if you're seriously interested in conducting studies in Canada, to attend that webinar, because they will provide you with key information on the do's and don'ts in terms of what to do when contacting a supervisor. And also our guest today, the University of Saskatchewan, will be presenting at that webinar as well. So what other information do we provide at CALDO? We also provide information in terms of, in regards to scholarships scholarships provided by funding agencies at the home countries where we operate. So what I will suggest for you also is to visit our website, because there you can find a wide array of services that, as I was mentioning, that will help you in your search of either a program or one of the universities that could become your host university for graduate student studies. One of the tools that I always like to draw the attention to our prospective students is our search engine that you will find in our main sites, and there you can search the different programs that you could be interested. For example, if you are interested in conducting studies in, let's say, mechanical engineering at a master's level, you can type that and you will see displayed all the different programs that our 10 member universities offer in that area. If after you're doing some browsing on our website, you still cannot find the information that you're looking for, I strongly suggest for you to fill out the form that you're seeing right now in your screen, and that comes out as a pop-up in our main website, where you can indicate the information that you're seeking, so we can be in touch with you and provide you with further information. So with this brief introduction, I would like now to introduce our main guest today, which is the University of Saskatchewan. Thank you very much, Kiela Caudillo and Shiny Chautery, who are going to be presenting to our audience the opportunities that the university has for you. So I will stop sharing my screen now. So you, Kiela or Shiny, could share your screen. And I'm just gonna shut off my mic so there are not noises. Yes, so we're seeing now the presentation. Yeah, it's it.
Hi, everyone. So I'm Shiny, and I'm a recruitment officer with the University of Saskatchewan, and Kiela and I are very excited to introduce to you our university and our home in Saskatoon. And I'll give it to Kiela to start off for today.
Thank you, Shiny. Welcome, everyone. Thank you, Viviana. Thank you, Shiny, for the introductions. Okay, so let's move to the next slide, please. So the University of Saskatchewan is located on Treaty 6 territory, a homeland of the Métis in the Saskatchewan province. So if you look into the map, we are right there where this yellow rectangle is. It looks like we are kind of in the middle, but actually we are in the west of Canada. And as many people said, Saskatchewan might be very difficult to pronounce, but it's actually very easy to draw, as you can see here in the map. Next one, please. The province of Saskatchewan is an emerging economic power in Canada. Saskatchewan is actually the breadbasket of Canada, with more than 40% of the cultivated farmland, which is about 50% of the whole farmland in Canada. Here in Saskatchewan, we are first producer and importer of cereals and legumes, and we are also a major source of potash and uranium. Also, Saskatchewan is the major reservoir of fresh water in Canada, and we have more than 100,000 lakes. It's about 10% of the Saskatchewan surface area is actually water. Next one, please. Also, we have 2 national parks and countless provincial parks for you to explore, from boreal forests in the north to grasslands in the south. Next, please. Saskatchewan is also called the province of the living skies because we have the most impressive multicolor and always changing skies. And yes, you can see the aurora borealis from Saskatoon actually. This is because we are in the prairies, so it's very flat. We don't have a lot of mountains. As you can see in this picture, there's just a few hills here and there. So that permits that all the wind that flow all through Saskatchewan moves the clouds very fast. So you will see the changing of colors in just minutes when it's the sunset. So it's actually a very beautiful experience. Next ones, please. The University of Saskatchewan, it's located in the vibrant city of Saskatoon. Saskatoon is actually the biggest city in the province, followed by the capital city, which is Regina. So you probably have heard these 2 names. A lot of people think that Saskatoon is the capital, but actually it's Regina. However, we are the largest one. Saskatoon is home of more than 280,000 people. We are getting close to 300, I believe, very, very close. And we are also known as Toontown or a city of bridges because, as you can see here in the picture, we have the South Saskatchewan River that crosses right in the middle of the city, dividing in west and east. And we have 7 bridges that connects both sides. So that's why they call us also the city of bridges. Next one, please. Saskatoon is well known for its exquisite cuisine, which is a fusion of multicultural flavors, and it's also an artistry destination. This is not because I will say it, because it's also recommended by the New York Times in 2018, and last year by the Forbes magazine, as you can see here in this slide. Next, please. Saskatoon hosts multiple events and recreational activities throughout the year. So you can enjoy musical festivals such as Jazz Festival or food festivals like the Taste of Saskatchewan, among other artistic festivals like Shakespeare in the Saskatchewan, Fringe Festival, and the Folk Fest Festival to celebrate our multicultural community. Next one, please. Saskatoon is a medium-sized city, even though it's the largest city in Saskatchewan, but compared to other big cities in other provinces, we are actually kind of the middle size. It's full of friendly people. It's a very safe place to raise a family and to live as an international student. I can tell you this from my own experience because I was once international student here. The cost of living is less compared to major cities in the East and West Coast. And you can find all the services and government offices as well. And we always welcome immigrants. We are very proud of our multicultural society. Next, please. The campus is located in the east side of the city, which is about 20 minutes walk from downtown. So the picture that you saw before with the river, that was downtown. So you only have to cross the University Bridge, and in 20 minutes walking, you will be in the main campus, the campus. The university was established in 1907, and it has this beautiful Greystone Gothic architecture. The campus has several tunnels and skywalks that connect the buildings, so you can actually walk indoors to go to the libraries, classrooms, to the food courts, to the walk-in clinic, and also to the residences. So you can live in the campus and you don't have to go out to go to your classroom. So you just walk indoors all the time. Next one, please. The USask family, it's a big family, and we are still growing. We are getting close to 26,000 students that represents 132 countries, and we have more than 3,400 international students and growing. We are also very proud that we are home of a growing community of self-declared Indigenous students. Next one. Our research explores diverse areas, including cancer treatment, crop development, animal and human vaccines, such as the COVID-19 vaccine, business, education, Aboriginal issues, natural resources development, sustainability, energy, space science, and nuclear physics within our 6 signature areas that you see here in this slide. And we are engaged in research partnerships worldwide. USask is leading the way in tackling pressing problems like water and food security. And currently, as I mentioned, we are in the development of a COVID-19 vaccine. Research, teaching, and learning at USask is enhanced by our array of world-class centers and facilities. So here you will see the 6 signature areas. So all these areas that I just mentioned are immersed in each one of these. Next one, please. So about our centers and facilities, I'm going to start with this one, the USask Video Intervac. This is one of the world's largest and most advanced containment level 3 facilities. It's the global leader in infectious disease research and vaccine development, combating dangerous pathogens in both animals and humans. Video Intervac researchers are developing vaccines for new and re-emerging diseases such as Zika, respiratory infections, MERS coronavirus, and tuberculosis, as well as diseases in livestock. Next one, please. The Global Institute for Water Security, or as we call it, GIWIS, supports the sustainable use of the world's water resources and protection against natural hazards like flood and drought. USask is ranked 1st in Canada and 18th in North America for water resources research. GIWIS also leads the Global Water Futures Network, which is the largest university-led water research program worldwide. The Global Water Futures Network is transforming the way communities, governments, and industries in Canada and other cold regions of the world prepare for and manage increasing water-related threats in the face of this global climate change. Next one, please. As the world's population continues to grow, so does the demand for safe and reliable food. The Global Institute for Food Security, GIVS, is a partnership between government, private business, and USask, and is working to find solutions to this global challenge. Researchers at GIVS have recently decoded the genomes for both red wheat and durum wheat, discoveries that will benefit farmers globally. GIVS is also developing new technologies to enhance seed quality and make plants more robust and resilient to disease and insects, and creating perennial seed grains that will reduce the carbon footprint of farming operations, improve crop yields, and other benefits. Next one, please. The Canadian Light Source, the CLS, is a national research facility of USask and the Canada's only synchrotron. So this is the only synchrotron that you will find in Canada is actually in our campus. It produces the brightest light in Canada, millions of times brighter than even the sun. It is used by more than 1,000 scientists from around the world every year in groundbreaking health agricultural, environment, and advanced materials research. Recently, scientists use the CLS, this facility, to make structural changes to an antibody that is showing a lot of potential for reduction of growth of cancer tumors. Next one. USask is among the top 4 in Canada in veterinary sciences, environmental sciences and engineering, agricultural sciences, and is the first place, as I mentioned before, in water resources. The University of Saskatchewan is guided by our global university plan, which is be the university that the world needs. Next one, please. So when you join the student community, automatically you will get access to services and support that will help you to manage your day by day in your academics and your personal life. The Regional Student Center, for example, it's a place to reconnect with all the communities on campus and also with our indigenous traditions. It's a place of gathering, learning, and awareness. Another center that we have is Access and Equity Services. This is to support whether visual or non-visual disabilities. So there is no discrimination here at all. It doesn't matter if you have a disability that is visible or not. You only have to register to the service, and we will help you and we will provide some support for you to actually develop your studies in the best way. The International Student and Study Abroad Center. This is going to be your favorite place when you start. So you can get support regarding your immigration status, your study permit, for example. Also, you can find opportunities for study abroad. So because you're coming as an international student, it doesn't mean that you cannot go to even to other countries, because you have the same opportunities as any other student. So you can apply to have like a 1 semester in France, or almost every place that you want to go, we can find opportunities for you. This is also a place of gathering with other international students. We also have the Student Central. In this place, you will find help with your classes registration, tuition payments, and any administrative issue. We also have the Student Employment and Career Center, is where you can learn how to write a resume, a cover letter, and you also can practice job interviews. This is also very good because we want to be sure that at the end of your studies, if you decided to stay, you will be able to find easily a job. By the way, we also have like a job posting website, so you can also find jobs on campus or outside the campus. The Student Wellness Center, we have walk-in clinics on campus. So if you get sick, you don't have to actually walk out of the campus. So you can get medical service in campus. A full-time enrolled student has free medical service. And when you pay your student fees, you will get also an additional health plan. So you don't have to be worried about that. Next one, please. And you can live also on campus. So this is also a very interesting experience. It's a great experience when you come for the first time, because when you live on campus in our residences, you can interact directly with other students. As I say, we have a huge community of international students. So everyone is new and everyone is, you know, if you haven't been outside of your home, your parents' home, so this is going to be a very good experience. So we have built-in residences connected by tunnels, as I mentioned, or we also have some residences that are just crossing the street from the campus. Next one, please. The college quarter residences is a type like apartment style. This one has individual rooms, but has like a sharing area, like the kitchen and the living room. Next one. This residence is just by crossing the street. This is the one that is outside the campus. But as you can see, it's a very nice walk. It's a beautiful building. Actually, it's very new. Next one. And we have in the campus the residences like a dormitory style. You can have single room, double room, and these have like shared bathroom. In this type of, well, for the residences, at this moment, we have some restrictions because of the pandemic. So it's very, right now we are not receiving we are not receiving students at this moment, so that's why we don't have the full capacity, but still we want to make some restrictions. So at the time that you apply for residencies, you will get this information, what you can get, what you cannot get. But you know, before the pandemic and hopefully after the pandemic, these are the options that you can apply to live in campus. Next one. And because the student's life is not only study, next one, the students can enjoy from 15 intramural sports like soccer, hockey, curling, basketball, many others, as well as we have more than 100 campus clubs and societies. There is a society for almost every community. There is one for Latin American students. They organize pizza parties, among other interactive activities. This is the best way to actually connect with other students. Whether from your country or not, it's always a good opportunity. So I will recommend to you to join one of these societies. Next one, please. Okay, so now I'm just gonna pass the microphone to my colleague, Shiny, and she's gonna be talking about the graduate programs and steps to apply. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Thanks, Kayla. So as Kayla already mentioned, we have our 6 main areas of research, but we also offer other programs as well, not only in those 6 signatures areas. So we have over 140 programs in 80+ fields of study. I know there are some questions that people have asked about scholarships and programs, so I will address them hopefully in the next 2 slides, and if I don't, then we will cover them in the question and answer section. So when you're applying as a student to the U of S, you generally apply to the department of your choice, but you are a student under the College of Grad and Postdoctoral Studies. So when you talk about requirements and everything and deadlines, those are set by the department. The scholarships also come from the department, and then there are some scholarships that come from the College of Grad Studies, and your letter will come from the College of Grad and Postdoctoral Studies. So to find our list of programs, you can visit our website, which is grad.usas.ca. I know that some of you have already done that, which is pretty great. Thanks for doing that. And you'll see that we have each program has its own requirements listed and all the steps that you need to apply. So I'll go through some of them in the next 2 slides. So these are our 6 steps to apply. These are pretty general. Each program, once you look at the page, you'll see there might be some additional steps. Some programs require you to get a supervisor before you apply. Some programs will only need you to submit an application and the documents. Some programs will ask you to submit a writing sample as well. So very program specific. So the first step would obviously be to find a program. So what are you passionate about and what do you have an interest in? If you do not know what program you want, but you know a general idea of a field of study that you want to study in, so you can go into our website and search by keywords. That will bring up supervisors to match your search, and then you can see what program they are involved in. This is a great way to explore your interests with our programs and how we offer 140 programs as well. So there might be something that would fit you. And additionally, if you are curious about how to contact a supervisor, there is a CALDO webinar this week on Thursday as well that you can join, and our university will be participating in that, and you'll be able to learn about how to contact a supervisor and get some real tips on that. So as I mentioned, on our website at grad.usas.ca, when you find your program, each of the program page has details on steps to apply, the tuition and fees, the supervisors and the research areas, the documents that you are required to submit, their deadlines. There are some programs that are accepting applications for January, but most of them are closed for September because most of our programs require you to apply at least a few months before it starts. So if you were thinking of applying now for September, it would be quite late. So if you are thinking of applying for January, the programs that are open, you'll have to look at the program pages and see their individual deadlines. Some programs have deadlines in November, some have deadlines in January, some in February. So there are a variety of different deadlines depending on the program. So generally speaking, the admission requirements for all applicants is you have to have an average of at least 70% in the last 2 years of your study, which is about 60 credit units. That's about 20 some classes. And you also have to demonstrate ability for independent thought. Usually that means you have to submit a writing sample, or you have to show that you have some published research or some sort of way. So each program will tell you how they want you to demonstrate that. For master's programs, you need to have a 4-year undergraduate degree or an equivalent. For doctoral programs, you need to have a research-based master's degree because doctoral programs are also research-based. And you have to also have a related degree in the field that you want to apply to in doctoral programs. Another requirement that is really important is the English language proficiency requirement. Applicants to the graduate programs at the University of Saskatchewan have to demonstrate English proficiency. There are a few ways that you can do that. The most common way is doing a test. That's the easiest way to know whether you meet the English proficiency requirement or not. The requirements you see here are general, and for some programs it can be a little bit higher or it can be a little bit different. So I would suggest that while this is general, you explore each program that you want to apply for separately. So another way of meeting the requirements is that if you have a minimum 3 consecutive years of full-time study or completion of a graduate degree at a recognized institute that has only exclusive English language instruction and examination. A way to find that out is on our website. There, when you look for English proficiency, you can see, you can check whether your university has the English language listed as the primary method of instruction and examination. Another way of doing that is that through our language centers. So we have our language center programs, which I will talk about in the next few slides. But before that, I want to mention that each program has their own deadlines. So I know that international students and domestic students can have different deadlines for most programs. There are some programs that don't have separate deadlines. And there was a question about deadlines being flexible because COVID-19 has delayed travel for students. Because it's set by the department, I can't say if they would be flexible. It would depend on the department if they would let you submit a late application, because even though you are an international student, you don't necessarily have to maybe apply for a visa or whatever. It's because your credentials are still international, it can take some time for the department to evaluate it. So it would really depend on the department that you are applying for and how flexible they are with their deadlines. Usually they're pretty set in stone, but I would encourage you to contact the grad administrator of each program that you are interested in, and they can help you figure out if you can submit a late application. If you're not able to find that information, we'll share our contact information in the end, and you can contact me and I can help you find that information as well. And I already mentioned about the admission requirements in the application process. That is also program dependent, but generally speaking, you do need to provide a CV and a resume most of the time, and an English proficiency and your transcripts. And this would mean all transcripts of all programs that you have attended. So when you are ready to apply, you visit our website, grad.usas.ca, and create an account, fill out the online application, make sure that you are checking the deadlines to see why, if you're not able to find the application online. It's really important to have the names and email addresses for your referees ready, because you will have to provide that in the application, and your complete educational history of the dates you attended and the degrees that you got, and also have a Visa or MasterCard to pay the $90 application fee, because that is required before your documents will be processed. So as I mentioned, another way of providing English language proficiency is by attending our language center and completing the UPrep program. So for some, depending on the department, for some programs, you can be admitted conditionally with the requirement that you need to provide English language proficiency. So one way they can recommend is you complete the UPrep program at the language center, or you complete the language test. So if you decide to do the language center program, then you have to contact them and apply for that program. There is the link to the website right there if you need to explore more of what that program looks like. Another way is that if you want to just attend the language center and improve your English, and you decide to do that, and once you finish that UPrep program, you decide you want to apply to a graduate program, you can do that as well. So those are some options. To check your application status, because everything is online, you will have to go to our website where you created the account and log in, and you'll be able to see the documents that are required from you, and if a decision has been made. And if a decision has been made, then you'll receive a letter, and you can view all that on your online application account. For submitting supplemental items, you can upload your documents, and once you are admitted, you might be asked to provide or documents directly from the institutions that you attended, or if it's a language test, then we might ask for an original, depending on what documents you provide. So generally speaking, we recommend that if you're planning to apply for fall 2021, you start preparing your documents and your everything that you need at least the summer before. So right now is the perfect time to prepare for a fall 2021 application. Because of restrictions and everything that are in place all around the world, it is a great time to start collecting your documents that you need and start working on that letter of intent to send out to professors, or start contacting supervisors that you need to do. Some programs like engineering will require you to fill out a pre-qualification form. So that is also really important to explore what each program needs from you. And then once you receive your offer, you will have to accept your offer and fulfill all the conditions that are required to be fully admitted as a U of S student. So thank you everyone for your patience, and I appreciate the good questions. So I'll start answering some of those.
Thank you, Shiny. Actually, I have answered some of the questions, but I just want to extend a little bit more about one question that we got from Victor Cavada. So he would like to learn a little bit more about the experiences living in a residence with a family. So I just send you a link about how to find more information about residences. We actually have residences for families. There is a waiting list. So it's good for you to know that as soon as you are admitted, you have to send your application to the residences, and then you will be put in a waiting list. As we mentioned earlier, because of the COVID-19, we have some restrictions. So, but all that information, we have it in our websites, and please do not be hesitant or afraid to send an email and ask more information. We are here to help you. We are here to guide you. So, and another thing that I can recommend to the people who are going to come with their families is that if we don't have a residence available for you because you're in the waiting list, or maybe your family, you know, it's a little bit big and you cannot live in those little apartments because those are like a little apartments, I would suggest to you to go and look outside the campus, actually, or prices. So compare living outside the campus or in the campus. It's actually not a big difference in cost. It's very similar. We try to keep our costs very, very low. So it's basically the same. It's just that for some people it's more comfortable to live on campus, and for other people they will say, no, I really need a big house or something like that. So it will go as high or as expensive as your living standards, right? But if you compare residences in campus or outside campus, it's going to be basically the same price that you will be paying.
So addition to that, there is family housing that we have on campus. It's called Suarez Hall. So if and when you can come to campus and you are applying for on-campus family residence, Suarez Hall is available. They are usually 2-bedroom suites, and some are furnished, some are not furnished, so you'll have to see what you want. Otherwise, there's also for Student Wellness Center, it provides support, health care for you and your spouse and your dependents, so your children as well. So that's a great addition. So we are pretty family friendly. We also have a daycare center on campus as well. So there are spots available for that when you arrive. And if you need help with study permit and all those applications, so our International Student and Study Abroad Center can provide help for you and your family as well. So I think it's a great idea if you want to come here with your family, because it's hard being alone for sure. So the more people, the merrier, right?
Thank you, Shani. Thank you, Kayla. I just want to mention something as well that I think is very important for international students to know, and that is the transportation system. Because depending where you come from, you know, the transportation system in your country and your city may not be as good as perhaps the ones that there are in certain cities in Canada. And living off campus does not mean that you would have to buy a car if that's not within your budget. Obviously, it's great if you have one, but if Kayla, maybe can you talk a little more about the transportation system for those that could be interested on living off campus?
Yes. Thank you, Viviana, for taking this point. Actually, well, as I mentioned, you know, we're a middle-sized city, but actually it's a small city, so you can actually walk or bike. A lot of people bike during the summer or walk even during the winter. You know, you can also walk outside and you are fine. When I say living outside the campus, I'm talking about crossing the street. It's not like the campus is outside the city. The campus is actually immersed in the center of the city. So you can, you know, do walk or bike, or you can take the bus. We have a very good bus service, the transit service. It's actually very good. It covers all the areas in the cities. It doesn't matter if you live really far from the campus, you can also take the bus. And when you come here as a full-time student, it's included in your student fees. The bus pass for the whole term, and if you continue with the whole year. So you don't have to even pay for that because it's already included in your student fees, which is actually very, very good. It doesn't matter how many times you use your bus pass, how many you ride the bus. It doesn't matter. It doesn't count by numbers. It counts by the term. So it's actually the best way to move when you live a little bit, you know, farther. But if not, just a quick bike, a quick walk. In the summer, it's so beautiful, so you will enjoy it.
Thank you, Kiela. And also, I'd just like to take just 1 minute to talk about the funding, because I see a lot of questions about scholarships. So just to clarify, because I sometimes I feel like there's a bit of a misunderstanding when we said that CALDO provides information or promotes funding, promotes opportunities for funding for graduate studies. So these are not scholarships from CALDO. These are scholarships that we negotiated with the countries that we work in Latin America. For example, in Uruguay, we have agreement. I'm just gonna quickly go through the different countries and the name of the agencies, just so you know. In Uruguay, we work with ANI, Chile with ANID, Paraguay, Becal, Colombia, MinCiencias, Mexico, CONACYT, Educafin, Brazil, CAPES and CNPK, Panama, CENACYT, Ecuador, CENECYT, Peru, PRONAVEC. And if you want more information in terms of the eligibility, in terms of how you can apply for these scholarships, please visit our website. And you might remember at the beginning of the session, I noted a form that comes out as a pop-up where you can provide us with your name, email, and the questions that you have. And in that way, we can get back to you with information that you need in order to apply for one of these scholarships. The other thing I wanted to quickly mention is, we have the Q&A section here. So if you have questions, if you can just note your name, because if we're not able to go through all of the questions that are being asked at this webinar with your name, we're gonna send this questions to Shiny and Kiela, and they may follow up with you later. So it is very important for you if you can write the name on the question, just so we can follow up in the event that we're not able to answer all of them just due to time.
Thanks, Viviana. I already put my email on there, so the Graduate Recruitment Office email. And so I just want to go through some of these questions. So there is one question about scholarships that you mentioned. So we do at the U of S, other than the CALDO scholarships that you get, we also offer scholarships at U of S. So some are department specific. So if you're applying for a particular department and you want to work under a particular supervisor, you can see what kind of funding they have. So that would help you with your living expenses, and it will be a stipend sometimes. Sometimes it can be like a dean scholarship that's dependent on your grades. So a great website to explore the scholarship options that we have is grad.usas.ca. So all our scholarship information is on there. There is and if you want to know if a particular faculty or supervisor that you're interested in has any funding, then you're welcome to contact them and say that you're interested in them supervising you and you want to know if they have any funding opportunities as well. There's a lot of international and Canadian scholarships offered for graduate students as well. So those links are also on our website if you want to explore those, because each scholarship has their own requirements. It would be hard for me to list all of those out, but yeah, you're welcome to explore that. And then
Shiny, could I ask a question? Because I have the feeling this is a question that many students might have. And I'm just going to read the question. This is from Luis Limo. And his question is, due to COVID-19 pandemic, many English test centers will remain closed for the rest of the year. I'm interested in applying to the PhD in health sciences. The deadline for international applicants is January 15. Is the Duolingo test valid for the fall 2021 graduate program submission?
Well, from what I know, that for the fall 2021 applications, they have not opened them yet. They're planning to open them sometime in September. So those, for currently, the English language Duolingo test is only for the current academic year, which is 2020-2021. So they haven't announced about what it would be like for 2021-2022. You can send me an email at the email address that I mentioned, grad.recruit@usas.ca, about the program and the test. And if you have completed it, then maybe you can attach the test and I will have to check if there is any information. Might not hear back until September when they have opened the applications probably. I think there's also a question about assistantship. So I'm assuming that's about teaching assistants. So yes, we do have teaching assistant fellowships for master's students as well. So it depends on your grades and it depends on the departments, whether they have that option. There might be some limited options for some department. For some departments, there might be a lot. So it really does depend on the department that you want to apply for. So there's a question about the cumulative weighted average of at least 70% in the last 2 years of study. So yes, you should send all of your academic history. So when you are applying, you should mention your full academic history. So all post-secondary institutes you have attended, even if you attended for only 1 semester, you should mention that. And we will require you to submit copies of transcripts for those because as part of your application, you are required to submit a full academic history.
Thank you, Shiny. Shiny, I see another question here, and I think we're too similar in terms of conditional acceptance that you mentioned. Are those conditional acceptance also for students applying for PhD programs, or are those restricted to master's programs? Yeah, could you provide more information on that?
Conditional acceptance can be dependent on, it depends, it can be academic conditions or document conditions. So if you submit copies of your transcripts when you're applying, you might receive a conditional acceptance that you need to provide final transcripts directly from the institute that you applied for. Then there can be a conditional acceptance, such as an academic condition, like you need to complete English language proficiency, or you need to get your degree if you're applying in the last year of your bachelor's degree or master's degree or something. So conditional acceptance is possible, but it can also depend on the department, that if they want you to have completed the degree and want you to have 1 year or 2 years of experience before you apply, then then you might have to wait till after you finish your degree and get that experience as well.
Thank you, Shiny.
Yeah, and I see there is another question about the pre-qualification form for engineering. Yes, you do have to submit the pre-qualification form before you apply. It is very important that you do that, because if you submit your application before you submit the pre-qualification form, they might not have space for you and they might not accept you, because the pre-qualification form, what it does is the department can look at your qualifications, they can look at what you have, and they can see if they have space for you, and then you can submit your application and pay the $90 fee. Otherwise, you'll be paying the fee and submitting your documents and you might not get accepted. So it's really important that you submit the pre-qualification form before you apply, if that's what the application says.
Thank you, Shani.
I would like just to mention something. So all what we presented here today is kind of a general information, but please don't keep it just there. That's why we are sharing the links to search directly to the program that you are interested to, because in every specific website for the program, it will come with a very detailed list of the requirements. So for some of them are very similar between master and PhD, or between college, among colleges, but for some others are going to be exceptions in the English level, for example, that is not going to be 86, maybe it's going to be 90, so usually are a little bit higher. That applies for the average, that applies for English level, and also for the type of documents that you have to provide. So don't worry too much about estimated your average. We are going to do it for you. As Shiny said, you have to just send the documents. But yes, I would suggest to you to go directly to the websites to look exactly what they are asking for. That will be the best, because yeah, we only give general information, what is kind of for the majority of the programs when you apply to those. Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Kayla. There is a question about the Masters in Water Security. So yes, it is a one-year Masters, and a great thing about the Water Security Masters, if you go on their program page, they have a virtual information session YouTube video right there, so you can watch that YouTube video and see what information they're shared on their virtual information session. They are currently open for applications for September 2020. So if you're thinking of applying for this year, I definitely recommend you can do that. But if you want to apply for next year, you might have to wait till the application opens. They usually open in the fall in September, but we don't have an exact date yet.
I just want to answer quickly the question about visiting research student. So we already talked today about when you apply as a full-time student, right? So if you want to come to do a full degree, master or PhD. However, we also have opportunities for a student exchange or for visiting research student. But for those kind of opportunities, you have to be enrolled in your home country in one university. So if you're already enrolled as a master or PhD in a university, let's say UNAM in Mexico, and you want to come and do one semester or up to 1 year, you can apply as a student exchange student or as a visiting research student. So we also have, I'm gonna share with you the website so you can find all the details. So it's not only for full degree, but you also can come for short terms.
Thank you, Kayla and Shiny. I see another question about the conversion of GPA, of the grade scheme that they may have in their home countries, and how would that translate into GPAs. I know at Caldo, like if you visit our website, we have a converter, like where you can select the country you're from and what that translates into GPA. But if you have something specific for Saskatchewan, if you would like to note that. And also, now that I'm on that topic, well, similar topic, Shiny, there's a question in terms of the cost. Would you be able to provide information of where our students can find the cost for the different programs that the University of Saskatchewan offers?
Yes, for sure. Thanks, Viviana. So for the grade conversion, we have an unofficial grade conversion on our website. Because it's unofficial, it's not set in stone, but it does give you an idea about the U of S admission average and how you can convert your grades. It is on our website on grad.usas.ca, and if you go under admission requirements, you can see that. And the other question was about the cost. So the cost depends on the program. There are some programs that are less expensive than the other ones because it depends on lab and teaching and intensity of the program. So as an example, if I look at civil engineering, it is about $6,000 per academic year, $6,730 per academic year. So that's Canadian dollars. So that's from September 1st to August 31st. But some other programs might be different. So it really depends on the program. So each program page will list what the cost is for that program. Sometimes the cost can change year to year. So you can expect like a few percentage of increase a year because inflation rises. So if you plan for a plus 2%, 3% increase per year, I think you should be okay. But that should at least give you another estimate. And these costs obviously does not include the student fees, which is different. And the student fees includes health and dental insurance. So for fall term and winter term, you might pay a little bit more because you are paying for health and dental insurance. And for the spring and summer term, you might be paying a little bit less because you're just paying for rec services or bus passes or stuff like that.
Thank you, Shiny. Just due to time, I would just like to ask Kiela and Shiny if they have any final remarks. And as I mentioned, if your question was not, we were not able to answer your question due to time, I'm going to be sending the list of questions to Shiny and Kiela for follow-up. And I would like maybe Kiela and Shiny, if you could provide as final remarks a little more information in terms of the life of the international student at Saskatchewan, because I saw a couple of questions there that they were very interested on what to expect, no? If they end up moving to Saskatoon, and what can they expect? Thank you.
Sure. Okay, well, what I can tell you is that I came as an international student, and I was able to adapt very quickly. It's a very inclusive community. We support very, very much our international students. We have different support centers, as I mentioned, and we are always open to receive your questions or concerns even before you come here. So we try to set up everything for you. We have a lot of services within the Student International and Study Abroad Center. And I saw one question here that how far are the stores? Actually, if you live on campus, we have all the services on campus. We have pharmacies, we have restaurants, we have fast food, we have walk-in clinics, everything. You don't even have to go out if you don't want to. But if you decide to live outside, you know, this is a fully developed city. So we have all the services. We have lots of grocery stores all around. And for families, it's also very safe, a very, very nice place to live. I just want to invite you to visit the website. All the information that we talk about today, plus all the questions that you have sent, you can find the answers at the website, thegrad.usas.ca. You will find there all your questions. And if something doesn't make sense, please send an email directly to Shiny. One another thing that I just want to mention, just to conclude, about the COVID-19 updates or the current situation here. So right now at this moment, even though we are working remotely from home, as you can see that we are in our houses, and all the campus is closed, but we haven't stopped working. So that means that you can start your applications now. You can start, well, check the deadlines, obviously. So you can start your application, but check when you're actually gonna be able to come to do your studies, right? Because the deadlines to submit documents is another thing, but you can start right now looking for your supervisor, searching about the programs, costs, and any questions you can start sending right now. The earlier, the better that you start your searching. Right this moment, the delivery for the classes that starts in this September, it's going to be online, so remotely. For January, we don't know yet if it's going to be offered online or we are going to have some in the classroom. For graduate students, it might change a little bit. There are some restrictions and some so it works a little bit because, you know, when you're doing research, you have to go to the lab or you have to go to the field, so it works a little bit different. But for now, it's just for you to know that we haven't really stopped receiving applications or for international students. So we're still working like regularly, but everything is on the web. Something else you want to add, Shiny?
No, I think you said it all. Thank you, Kiela.
Well, thank you very much, Kiela and Shiny. It was a pleasure to have you here today. And thank you very much to our audience for following us in this webinar. And again, if you have any questions, please feel free to contact Shiny directly or Caldo. And I hope to see you our next webinar next Thursday on how to contact a supervisor. I hope you have a great afternoon, everyone.